Okay, so today I'm going to do something that I've never made before, and that is biscuits. And I know a lot of you make biscuits all the time and are very comfortable with them, but this is the first time I will have made them from scratch. So I did find a recipe that perhaps will work, perhaps I won't be happy with, but let's see now. Okay, so the ingredients list is 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 3/4 of a cup of milk, which I've got there, and whole milk actually, and 1 teaspoon of salt, which I'm not going to put in here because I've already have salted butter. So when you know, in my case, I decided I will not add both. So I do have salted butter. It asks for unsalted butter, which I don't have. First stage is to mix the baking powder, sugar, salt, and flour. Once again, omitting the salt in this particular recipe. Okay, so I'm going to mix all these, and it says to mix them well, and then set aside and preheat the oven to 4 1/4, which I've already done. It asks me to line a cookie sheet with parchment paper, but I think I'm going to use a cast iron skillet, which is something also I've never used. Well, I've never made biscuits, so there you have it. Okay, as well the butter. 7 tablespoons of butter, which is just shy of ½ a cup. And it says in this recipe, and I thought that that was a grand idea, to either you can use a pastry cutter to cut it into this mixture, or you can grate it, and that way you don't have to handle it too much. And I really like the idea of grating it, so I've done that, and it's back in the refrigerator. And I'm going to add that to this flour mixture right now. And I had put it back in the freezer to stay cold. And if, like pastry, that the least you handle the butter sometimes, the better it turns out. Perhaps this will work out nicely. Okay, so I'm just going to mix that in somewhat. And of course, the chunks of butter are still quite visible there. Okay. Okay, now we're going to add the milk. Just wanted to get more flour to be able to flour my surface here to cut this all on. Okay. Before I add the milk. Okay, now I'm going to add the milk and use a spatula to work all this together. Okay. Well, there's my oven up to temperature. Okay, it says to flatten layers together. So fold it over on itself and then flatten layers together. I must look like quite the amateur to some of you. But there's a first time for all of us. Okay. Now I do not have a biscuit cookie cutter, so I'm going to have to find something. Okay, they want this about 1 inch thick. That might work. Okay, I'm just using a glass. I don't know, that looks pretty thick to me, but we'll continue along. I think the idea is to get about 6 of these. Well, they look good for a first attempt. Some of them obviously a little bit bigger than others, but okay. Let's see if I can. And I do have 6. So, on to my, and this one may be too large. Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I think I better pull these out and just put a little bit of butter or something at the bottom of this. Okay, that ought to do it. Put them back in. And I'll let you know how they turn out when they're finished baking. Into the oven they go at 425. Okay, well they are light golden brown on top now, so it's time to pull them out. And looks like a success to me. Hopefully the bottoms are not burnt. Oh, that's flaky enough. Ooh, looks good. Have to put one on a dish. Might as well take the one I've already touched. Oh, look at that. It's all coming apart. I guess that's what it's supposed to do. All flaky. Looks good to me. A little hot though. I'm gonna wait till it cools down a bit before I try to eat it. Okay. Well, that is my first attempt at making a biscuit. And I did see Mark looking at them on the internet yesterday, and I know he likes biscuits and gravy. Who knows if that's what he had in mind, but he'll be probably surprised to see that he's got biscuits when he gets home. I think I'll take those out of that pan and put them in a dish. Just so they don't continue to brown on the bottom. And one for me to try right now. Okay, that's it for this. I daren't touch that cast iron pot right now. But, okay, there we have it. Tony's first attempt at making biscuits. And I think as long as they're cooked, it's a success. All right.